some breaking news on the Big Red of B. Schneid YouTube channel. Nebraska basketball just improved to 15-0, but there's breaking news for the Cornhuskers in football now, as it appears that Kenny Minchey is now going to Kentucky, completely shaking up Nebraska's quarterback portal outlook going forward. Sam, just what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario. Like you said, I just finished covering Nebraska basketball's, 15th win over Ohio State. Big road test for them. I get ready to post everything on social media, and then I go onto X, and all of a sudden I'm seeing this chaos reported out by On3. And, it immediately threw me into a whirl. We were able to put a good list together, but I think this is a situation that Nebraska fans are going to be alarmed, but there is no need for panic. As we are about to tell you, there are plenty of options out there left for the Cornhuskers, not to mention TJ Lateef still sits in that quarterback room. So I think it's a really good win for Kentucky. Obviously, if they wanted him, that means there's SEC caliber quarterback in him. And I think that there is still opportunity for Nebraska to get what they want.
Well, let's dive into that quick list. I think the first name that comes to mind was a guy that was already reported back in December, and that's Aiden Chiles. Now, Chiles got benched later in the year to Michigan State, but he's a dual threat. Threw for 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions this year. I think that's the front runner as of right now, if you just had to gauge it.
Yeah, I would agree, and I don't think that Husker fans should be too upset about Aiden Chiles. He's got a huge ceiling. On3 and Rivals both have him ranked as the number 14 quarterback in the portal right now. He's got Big Ten experience against quality Big Ten defenses. Still, there's a lot of work to be done for him, but I think he's the closest you're going to get to a Minchey style. And his big frame, 6'4", 195, I think is something that you love to see.
And then the next guy, I think that similar to Chiles, but has more of a turnover problem, is DJ Lagway. Now, it's been reported that Florida State is ironically the front runner to land Lagway, but maybe Nebraska gets in this now with Lagway, another dual threat. He has that big size as well, nearly 240 to 50 pounds, but the turnovers concern you is the only downside the Lagway.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of DJ Lagway over the last 2 years, the comparisons between him and Raiola, them being 1 and 2 in the class. And I personally haven't been all too impressed by Lagway. He's young still, but I feel like replacing Lagway with Raiola would be replacing, similar ceiling quarterbacks and similar performance quarterbacks. And you'd argue, honestly, most people would agree that Raiola has actually been better than Lagway in his 2 seasons.
And then another one that you pointed out, Sam, is Michael Van Buren. Now, he started his career at Mississippi State, was at LSU this past year, got to play in some games, but let's see, no, that's not, I don't have his stats pulled up, I don't believe. Or yeah, I do. So he played towards the end of the year after the whatever the starting quarterback, I can't spit out his name right now, got benched, but on the year he went, he threw for 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, has that dual threat ability as well. So this might be a guy that is under the radar, that maybe doesn't come onto the boards right away, but maybe this is the guy that Nebraska turns to.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he was at Mississippi State his freshman year, and he transferred out of there to head over to LSU, losing to I'm blanking too, but a good quarterback that got hurt for LSU this season. And I think he's 5'11 and a half, 180. Like you said, dual threat quarterback. He's got potential, and he's not going to drive necessarily the $1.5 million price tag that a guy like a Minchey or a guy like a Lagway could bring in.
And the quarterback I was thinking of Mestmeyer. It's Garrett Nussmeier. That's why I was getting.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going off there. And another guy, now this one I believe is not in the portal, but J.C. French, you pointed out the Georgia Southern quarterback, and we were looking at his stats and everything. Now, this guy is more of a passer, but he threw for nearly 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 picks this year. He does also have ability to run, but it's nothing flashy. But this might be a guy that Nebraska could go spend $800,000 to $1.2 million on and go compete with TJ Lateef.
Absolutely. And I think when you're looking at the portal, all your big names are going to be gone, with Levitt and Sorsby,
because Levitt's probably going to LSU now.
LSU, yeah, because Kentucky was the other team rumored, and now with Minchey coming in, you don't expect Levitt to be going to Kentucky. But yeah, I really like JC French. He's a good decision maker. I know it looks like not so with the 20-8 touchdown interception ratio, but 3,000 yards on only 248 completions, completion percentage of 63%. He does have that running ability, very Minchey-esque, is not going to be looking to run immediately, but has that ability to get you 5 to 10 yards if needed on a scramble. He's got a ton of experience. He's played in a ton of games. Georgia Southern overall has been a decently successful program. Marquise Watson-Trent coming from there. There's a small connection there. You don't know what that could play in, but he's not fully in the portal yet, but he is expected to enter. He could be a off-the-list guy that Nebraska could definitely have come visit.
And on to another quarterback. Virginia's starting quarterback this year, Anthony Colandrea. He is definitely more of a passer, but he threw for 3,500 yards, 23 touchdowns, 9 interceptions as well. I think if you're Nebraska, yeah, you like the throwing ability, but considering you were figuring Nebraska's going to go to more of a dual threat type of quarterback, I don't know if it really necessarily fit the Nebraska scheme that Dana and Jeep Wade all want to run for the Cornhuskers this coming year.
Yeah, I just want to correct you real quick. He was the starting quarterback at Virginia for his freshman and sophomore season, and then transferred to UNLV last season to take this.
I'm sorry. Yeah, UNLV. I'm sorry. That was wrong.
Yeah, he wasn't bad at he wasn't bad at Virginia. He wasn't bad at UNLV. But he's a Marcos Davila caliber quarterback, maybe a step above with all the experience that he has. Being the starter for 3 seasons, he did run for 649 yards on 127 carries this last season against UNLV. He's definitely someone you could bring in to be that senior presence to challenge Latif for that starting role.
And then the last one I wanted to bring up, and you said he's not directly in the portal, but with Missouri projected to land Anthony Simmons from Ole Miss, Bo Pribula is another name to potentially watch. Now, I believe I've almost heard, was it Arizona State potentially for Pribula?
So right now on 3 has him marked at 53% chance prediction to go to Virginia Tech, 46% chance to go to Georgia Tech.
Okay, so on the year, Pribula had 1,900 yards, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, similar to Lagway, not the touchdown to interception ratio you'd want. However, this is a guy that's a veteran. I believe he'll be a 5th-year senior this next year, so that's a veteran guy you could go with. Ain't the most mobile, but can do something with his legs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing about Pribula is, you can kind of get Virginia Tech off that list because Gunkemeyer, the Penn State starter from this season, is projected to go there now. So we'll see how Pribula's recruitment shakes up. But he was good last season. He's really dealt with some injuries during his career. But if you want that, 1-year guy, veteran to handle that tough schedule that Nebraska has before handing it off to a TJ Latif or a Trey Taylor, I think he's going to be able to do that for you.
Well, and then there could be another name that emerges. These were just the ones that came off to the top of our head. And of course, like with a Lagway or something, these guys might already have plans. Like we said with Lagway at Florida State, looks like that the team that could be the front runner for them. But anyway, guys, let us know who you want or think Nebraska may go after in the comments below. For Bobby Schneider and Sam Ojeda, signing off.